What's good, y'all? It's your boy Mike with Blunts and Bees. Today, I wanted to bring y'all a deck profile of a deck that I think could be a contender for the best combo deck of the format. Now, this deck's often overlooked for a lot of the other decks that play, but it can do some really insane-ass combos. I'm talking about Code Talkers, y'all. So without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, first off, we're going to start with the four most important monsters in this deck. First off, we have Microcoder here. This little motherfucker shares the same effect of every other coder monster, that he can be used as link material from the hand for the summon of a Code Talker monster. If he's sent from the hand to the graveyard for a link summon, you could search one Cynex spell or trap from your deck. If he's sent from the field, you could search a level 4 Cyborgs monster. Now, every time you're going to want to use him from the hand to get Cynex Codec out and start your plays. Next off, we have 2 copies of Code Generator. He lets you send a Cyborgs monster with 1200 or less attack from your deck to the graveyard if he's used as link material. Or you can add that card to the hand instead if he's on the field. You want to send it to the graveyard. You'll see why here in a little bit. Next off, we have Code Radiator. This one, if sent from the hand, allows you to negate 2 monsters. Changes attack to 0. Now, lastly, we have Nightmare Corruptor iblee. She sets you up for your iblee lock to lock your opponent out of special summoning period. Normally it'd just be link plays, but when you see the combo, you'll understand why I say period. This bitch is badass and you want to see her as much as possible. Alright, now we'll go off some of our other starters and extenders. First off, we have 3 copies of Lady Debug. She's really important in this deck. If you don't pull a coder or a Nightmare Corruptor iblee in your starter hand, you can summon her and add one, which really helps out in the long run. Next up, we have 2 copies of Parallel Exceed. Now, I choose to run this in basically any Cyborgs deck, period, just because of its ability to special summon itself if a link monster is summoned, and special summon another copy from the deck, get you 2 extra bodies to go into higher link plays. Next, we have 1 copy of Dotscaper for its ability to special summon itself from the graveyard once per duel if it's sent there. Next, we have for Mud Skipper, you'll only use him for his secondary effect, and if he's used as link material, you could add 1 level 5 or higher Cyborgs monster from your deck to your hand, which is a good way to search your Parallel Exceed or your Gachiri if you need to. Next, we have Sea Archiver for its ability to special summon itself if another monster is link summoned. We have Gachiri at Ignister. Like I said, you could search him for Mud Skipper. You could target 1 Cyborgs effect monster you controlled and get its effects if you do special summon this card. And then if it's sent to the graveyard for any reason, you could target 1 face-up monster you control that's unaffected by your opponent's card effects till the end of your opponent's turn, which is really fucking badass. Next, we have Cyborgs Converter for its ability to special summon itself if you control a Cyborgs monster. We have Backup Secretary, does the same thing. We have Link Infraflyer for its ability to special summon itself to a zone a link monster points to. Next, we have Cyborgs Gadget. If it's normal summon, you target 1 level 2 or lower monster in your graveyard, special summon in defense position, but negate its effects. If it's sent to the graveyard, you special summon 1 Gadget token, which helps you get another body out to extend your combos a little more. Lastly, we're on a small Salomon Great Engine. We got Gazelle. And then we have 2 copies of Spinny to help you get Gazelle out. And also, we run Salomon Great Balinks and Sanctuary. You'll understand why once we go over the combos in a little bit. Now, we'll move on to our spells and traps. First off, we have 3 copies of Cynex Codec. This is one you'll be searching with Microcoder more than likely. Its effect, if you summon a Code Talker monster from the extra deck, you can add 1 monster of the same attribute from your deck to your hand. But you can only do it once per turn per attribute. So you can do it for each attribute, but you can only do it for 1 once per turn. Next, we run 3 copies of Cynet Mining, just because you discard a card, search 1 level 4 lower Cyborgs monster from your deck. I mean, useful as shit. We run 2 copies of Cynet Optimization. If a Code Talker monster battles, your opponent can activate effects to the end of the damage step, and during the main phase, immediately after its effect resolves, you can normal summon 1 Cyborgs monster. Useful as shit for extending your combos. And then for some of our disruption, we run 3 copies of Dark Roller No More. Negate the effect of every monster your opponent controls, but they don't take battle damage, which ain't that bad of a thing. It allows you to get over shit like Dragoon. Next, we run 1 copy of Called by the Grave. We run 1 copy of 1 for 1 to special summon 1 level 1 monster from a hand or deck by sending 1. We run 1 Monster Reborn. 1 Foolish Burial, 2 copies of Cynet conflict. When a spell or trap or monster effect is activated while you control a codetalker monster, negate that activation, and if you do, banish that card. So this is a useful ass motherfucking card. Allows you to get some disruptions on your opponent's turn. Then we have one copy of Salamangreat Sanctuary. Alright, that about wraps it up for the main deck. We'll move on to the extra deck. First off, we have 2 copies of Salamangreat Balinx for its ability to be able to search Sanctuary and also to be able to protect itself if need be. We run 1 copy of Splash Mage to be able to special summon 1 Cyborgs monster in defense position from the graveyard whenever he's summoned. We run 1 copy of Codetalker to be able to search a dark off a Sonic Codec. 1 copy of Talkback Lancer. 1 copy of Codetalker Inverted to search a light, and also to be able to special summon 1 Cyborgs monster from your hand to zone he points to whenever he's special summoned. 1 copy of Shooting Codetalker. We're basically just doing that for the attribute search. 1 copy of X Codetalker. Now we have him in here for the arrows and for the wind search. 1 copy of D Codetalker Extended. He's a decent card. I've honestly thought about dropping him though, and for possibly another Firewall Dragon. We run 1 copy of Update Jammer for its ability to allow a monster to attack twice whenever it's used as link material. 1 copy of Transcode Talker. Now he's put in here to boost attack of some of your monsters, to protect them from targeting, and also he's a good card that can possibly go for game under the right circumstances. We have 1 copy of Firewall Dragon. Now this is a motherfucker that I love. I'm so glad they unbanned this card. He works fucking wonders in this fucking deck. You'll understand why we go over the combos. 1 copy of Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avermax. This is one of the best link monsters there is. I love this motherfucker. I play him in a lot of decks. He gains whatever attack your opponent has. He fucking can't be targeted by effects. Monsters can only target him for attacks. And if he does leave the field for some reason, you can just shuffle 1 card from the field into the deck. And then lastly, we have Access Codetalker. Now, y'all already know this motherfucker. Ain't nothing need to be said. He's badass, can go for a game, and can pop all kind of shit. Alright, so that wraps it up for the extra deck. So just to show y'all exactly how powerful this motherfucker could be, we'll start by drawing 5 cards here. First and foremost, we'll summon Nightmare Corruptor Iblee. We will send Microcoder and Iblee to the graveyard to link summon Codetalker. Iblee's effect will activate special summon herself to your side of the field. Now this is really important because it locks your opponent out of all special summons but link summons, which protects you for bullshit like Nibiru, Gamma, all them motherfuckers. Then Microcoder's effect will activate. Add Sonic Codec to the hand. We'll go ahead and play that. We will summon Cyborgs Converter with its effect. Then link those 2 off for Transcode. Transcode's effect will activate to a special summon a level 3 or level 2 or lower link. The Sonic Codec's effect will go off. We special summon the Earth attribute. We can add 1. Then we will Code Generator and Code Talker. And the X code, which allows us to add a wind. Then Code Generator's effect will go off to send a Cyburst with 1200 or less attack. We'll send Dotscaper. Special summon Dotscaper by its effect. Link Transcode and Dotscaper for Codetalker Inverted, which will allow us to add a light. Then he's special summoned, so we can special summon a parallel, well, hold up on that, special summon 1 Cyborgs monster from the hand. We'll go ahead and link those 2 off for Shooting Codetalker, which will allow us to add a water. And then for Mud Skipper, we'll send as material, so we got 1 level 5 or higher. We'll add Gachiri at Ignister. And because we special summoned a link monster, we can special summon Parallel Exceed. And then we special summon another copy from the deck with its effect. Then we will go ahead and link these 2 for Firewall Dragon. We will activate Gachiri's effect to negate Parallel Exceed's effect, special summon himself. And then we will link these 2 off for Splash Mage. Splash Mage's effect. Special summon 1 Cyborgs monster from the graveyard. We'll go with Dotscaper to the zone that Firewall points to. Then we will go ahead and link Dotscaper for Talkback, which will allow us to special summon Sea Archiver through Firewall's effect. We will tribute to Splash Mage with Talkbacks in order to special summon Transcode Talker back to the field. Now, Gachiri's effect will make Firewall unaffected by your opponent's card effects. Then we'll go ahead and link the C archiver for Salamangreat Balinks, which will allow us to add Sanctuary. We'll play that. We will link the Balinks off for a copy of itself. Now, the reason we're playing Sanctuary in this is because if your opponent decides on their turn that they want to suicide iblee so they can get their special summons out, you could drop a monster's attack to 0. And 2 monsters with 0, nothing's destroyed. They both stay on the field, so it keeps your iblee lock in check. And then, from here, because we did a link summon, we can special summon C Archiver since it was only summoned with a Firewall's effect. We're allowed to do that. And then we can have 2 options here. We can either link these 2, or better yet, go ahead and special summon Backup Secretary. Link these 2 for Update Jammer. And then Update Jammer and Xcode into Access Code. This gives us an Access Codetalker with 5300 attack that can attack twice and also has 5 unanswerable pops, which is pretty much fucking game winning right there. If I'm going second, this is the board I like to end on to just fucking wreck their shit. Now, if I'm going first, I like to do things a little bit different. Leave C Archiver there. Backup Secretary. And you could go those 2 into the Update Jammer. And then go ahead and link those 2 for Mech Knight Crusadia Avermax. And that gives you 4 monsters that can't be targeted. 1 that's unaffected by your opponent's card effects. Plus, Avermax is the only monster they're allowed to attack. If you need to, you can boost his attack up by whatever the fuck they hit you with. Or you could use Sanctuary's effect, like we talked, to drop him to 0 to protect yourself from the iblee. These are 2 really oppressive boards. Lock your opponents out of special summon and really shut shit the fuck down. Now, if you're watching this, you see why the hell I think this is one of the top combo decks of this meta. Like, this shit I feel like is up there with Dragon Link in its prime. This is a badass deck. It's going to keep getting even better, especially once we get the Codetalker Heat Soul. Now, that wraps it up for the combos on this shit. I really hope y'all enjoyed it. That's all I got for today. As always, if you like this shit, like and subscribe. I'll holler at y'all motherfuckers later.